Hello, my name is Jonathan Cadena, and in this video, I will use Mackey's ethical theory to explain and take a deep look at Zack Snyder's film adaptation, Watchmen. I will discuss moral skepticism, intersubjectivity values, and morality in ways that the characters juggle with their own morals and moral code and their effects it has on the world itself. Now, first and foremost, what is Watchmen? Watchmen is a film directed and released by Zack Snyder in 2009.
Just a matter of time, I suppose.
Watchmen. One of us died tonight.
In a world where it's said to be an alternate reality that mirrors closely to the contemporary world of the 1980s. The difference between our world and theirs is that they have vigilantes,
Maybe it was a political killing.
which are a group of citizens who undertake law enforcement in their own community. No one has superpowers other than the character Dr. Manhattan, who is basically God.
Nations around the world still reeling from this morning's announcement, possibly the most significant event in recent history. We repeat, the Superman exists, and he is American.
Another difference in this timeline is that we have won wars in different means through the use of Dr. Manhattan's powers. Also in this timeline, President Nixon is serving his 5th term as the President of the United States during its version of the Cold War against the Soviet Union. There's a theme in this story that makes it seem like there's a doomsday clock on when the nuclear war would break out.
Ain't nothing gonna matter once those nukes start flying. We'll all be dust.
Now you're probably asking, what the heck does this alternate reality have to do with Mackey's concept of subjectivity values? Let me explain. Let me start off first by going over the central idea of moral skepticism, which is basically the doubt of morality. Because morals are subject to be different for each person.
Oh, this is getting heavy.
The doubt of morality is something that does come up often in the film, with this lack of true hero in the film.
She was pregnant. And you gunned her down.
That's right. You know what? You watched me. You could have turned the gun into steam, the bullets into mercury, the bottle into goddamn snowflakes, but you didn't, did you?
Ones who aren't powerful enough to save everyone, with doubts of morality and insecurity. And those with great power but becoming a victim to that power with moral judgments and loss of humanity.
I prefer the stillness here. I am tired of Earth. These people. I'm tired of being caught in the tangle of their lives.
And then those who see the world in a nihilistic black and white way.
Men get arrested. Blacks get put down.
Now for intersubjectivity values, which is something to be existing between one or more conscious mind. We interact with one another every day to interpret the meaning of the world. It basically allows us to have intersubjective experiences and perform decision making. Now, using the lens we have acquired from Mackey, we can dissect the ending of the film, The Watchmen. In the film, vigilantes Night Owl and Rorschach have learned that Ozymandias was a man responsible for the murder of Eddie Blake, the comedian. As they tussle, Ozymandias handles them swiftly and quickly. He explained and confesses to them on how he killed the comedian, manipulated Dr. Manhattan to question his stance on humanity and leave Earth. Asmodeus also finally tells him his endgame by detonating devices in key regions around the world with the intent of killing millions using a fabricated device that would make it mimic as if it was Dr. Manhattan himself. Rorschach, who argues that they won't let him get away with it, where Asmodeus says,
I seriously think I'd explain my masterstroke to you if there were even the slightest possibility you could affect the outcome. I triggered it 35 minutes ago.
Dr. Manhattan and Silk Spectre return back to Earth and witness the horrible destruction firsthand. He confronts Asmodeus, who Asmodeus' response is just basically switching the television. Nixon addresses the nation and informing all Americans watching that a peace agreement has been forged with the USSR, so that the two sides may work together and protect themselves from Dr. Manhattan attacks. And we see also televisions in the back room basically saying we're in world peace, all the nuclear war has been died down, like we all have a common threat now. So the heroes are kind of like in a moral dilemma, but they ultimately choose to follow Asmodeus' plan. Choosing neither to condone or condemn, Dr. Manhattan acknowledges what has been done by sacrificing millions to save billions. Now let's unpack, first specifically on Asmodeus' plan on killing millions to save billions statement and his actions from there on. According to the text Ethical Theory by J.L. Mackie, on a subjective view, the supposedly objective values will be based in fact upon the attitudes which the person who takes himself to be recognizing and responding to those values. Asmodeus is in fact that person who has taken himself to recognize and respond to those values or current situation. People with different values, systems, and functions operate based on what they see as right or wrong. That the views and opinions aren't one size fits all. Asmodeus saw the Cold War ending and billions in dying in a nuclear war. His perspective and intelligence, which, I forgot to mention, he is the smartest man on earth, sees everything in a different perspective. Almost a utilitarian way of thinking. Basically, a practical way of thinking. Now, according to the text, we need morality. We need it because it regulates interpersonal relations. Our morality controls our actions and behaviors we have with one another. We use it as a guide to interact with others in order to avoid and allowing our true intentions to lead our actions that may result in an undesirable outcome. And these differences can cause conflicts to arise. Just how Asmodeus differs from Night Owl's and Rorschach's moral code. They disagree with his actions right away, but Asmodeus has become convinced that he must change the course of history no matter the cost for the greater good. In that moment, Dr. Manhattan and Asmodeus see eye to eye and understand what has been done for this peace based on the lie. Their own interpersonal values collide to form a new objective moral conclusion. Their intersubjectivity agreement that this will cause world peace is something they all agreed on, even if it goes against their moral values. All but one. Rorschach refuses to compromise and leaves inclining he's gonna tell the world what happened. He says,
Never compromise. Not even in the face of Armageddon. That's always been the difference between us, Daniel.
A vigilante anti-hero whose twisted morals of just saying a black and white, right or wrong, causes his death at the end. Mackie interprets Immanuel Kant's categorical imperative, and I believe it fits Rorschach and the way he sees the world perfectly. Kant believes that you must do the right thing, whether or not it benefits you. Though Rorschach sees the world is now at peace, his twisted moral compass doesn't allow him to accept it. His own moral judgment, his experiences in his life are different from Asmodeus. By accepting it, it means of disrupting the very way he sees the world. Just like Kant, Rorschach argues that one should never violate the rule, never lie.
Not even in the face of Armageddon.
Rorschach dies with his ideologies of his own personal code.
Foundations. fight anymore. Do it. Do it!
Now, do the ends justify the means? The moral dilemma between the costume heroes causes a shake in their moral institution. Though they were shocked, they decide to go along with his plan. If they brought him to justice, all those deaths would have been in vain, and the world would still be on the brink of destruction. Rorschach, who refuses to compromise and follow his twisted black and white moral compass, follows Immanuel Kant's dictum: let justice be done, though the world perish. This just goes to show you that people's different experiences can shape the way they have their moral institutions. Yeah, you could have an intersubjectivity idea where more than one consciousness goes together. That doesn't mean everyone's gonna agree. There will be arguments.
Keep your own secrets.
Don't even think about it.
Rorschach!
Do it!